Good morning and welcome to Manifesting Monday. It has been a crazy week for me. Last week our mare had our little filly that we are still debating on a name for. And unfortunately things did not go as planned and we ended up spending the whole week pretty much at CSU. And we were able to bring them home last week Thursday, and so a few things have changed since then. I am very thankful for all the prayers and well wishes and things that we received last week, and that we were able to bring them home and that they are healthy. And I've posted a couple of videos of them running around, and yesterday Whisper got to meet them for the first time outside of the runs, and they were out playing and frolicking in the pasture, so we were super excited about that. However, one of the things I want to share this week is a recurring theme that's been happening for me over the last couple weeks and things that I've had to look at. And one of them is letting go and the fear behind control and what that looks like for me. I was just at the Mojo movement this weekend, which was phenomenal. They had great speakers and I was a vendor there. And one of the things that came up at the event was Kate, who was the promoter of the event, spoke, and she talked about looking at the month, the date of your birth and your year, and basically breaking that down into a number and what that number meant. And that's basically called numerology. And I've looked at my numbers in the past. However, this was a little bit different. The theme that came up for my number 9 was letting go. And like I said, that's been a reoccurring theme that happened for me last week when I was at my Gestalt camp and training. That was a theme that showed up there, as well as something that was talked about in my podcast last week that was released around fertility and surrendering to the dream of becoming a mother. So there's been some really significant ahas around that letting go and the control and the fear of that. So that's something I would recommend that you look at. And one of the things that I want to give for a tip this week is some things that are potentially holding you back that you can look at that may not be getting you exactly what you want. And you may be doing well in your career, you may have graduated from college, you may have a great job, you may be establishing a wonderful business, yet there's still something that's potentially holding you back from your peak or what you really truly desire. And one of those things is procrastination. And we all do it. It's a matter of how much we do it and in what areas we tend to do it in. And putting off, things that are mundane or difficult tasks is very easy to do. However, the longer you delay making those tasks a priority, the worse it actually gets. And so once you are able to complete that, mark that off, check that box, there's actually this great feeling that you will have. And if you stop procrastinating and start making a plan, you'll be ready for success when it actually comes. The next thing that a lot of people are afraid of is the fear of failure. And failure stops so many people from having the things that they want, taking the risks, seizing opportunities. And it can actually be paralyzing and really stop you from what it is that you want. And to free yourself from this fear of failure, you just really need to reframe what failure means for you. And failure doesn't have to be disaster. It doesn't mean that you have to completely fall and not be able to get back up. It just might be that you scrape your knees and then you get back up. And it just may mean that you haven't found what works yet. And every no is one step closer to the yes. The next thing I want you to think about is distractions. It's sometimes very easy to get distracted, and You need to stay focused on what it is to be successful. Again, it's easy to get distracted by doing the laundry, doing things that are easy, and not necessarily focusing on what is going to be more difficult. And if you sometimes take a bite at something of what is more difficult, you will feel better than being distracted by all of the easy things to get done in the day. One of the last things I'd like you to focus on is self-doubt. And self-doubt, unfortunately, can undermine all your efforts if you let it. The best thing you can do is build your confidence and stop comparing yourself to others. So many times in life, we compare our backstage to other people's front stage. And what I mean by that is you're comparing your life to what you see is going on in the present moment for someone else. And unfortunately, you have no idea the blood, sweat, and tears that went into, where they are now. Prime example is, Oprah or, that's the first one that came to my mind, where people were. I just watched a short clip with Jim Carrey this weekend, where he was actually driving on Mulholland Drive in LA and had written himself a check and would go up there to make himself feel good because he wasn't the actor and wasn't getting the acting gigs that he wanted. And so he wrote himself a $10 million check, and he just basically went up there every single night or when he was depressed to basically manifest the dreams that he wanted. And so I encourage you to do that as well, is to stay in a place, even though sometimes it's not always easy, to stay in that place of seeing the perfect end result and that vision. And don't compare yourself to other people. Again, you don't know what their backstory is, how long it took them to get there. You're just attempting to compare what you have in the present moment to what they have, and you don't know how long it took them to get there and what they had to give up or all the no's that they received long before they got there. And your success story is totally up to you. Look back and see all the stepping stones that brought you to where you are now. You have the skills, you have the know-how to get to where you want to go. So I hope this was helpful for you. Again, I am so thankful for all of the love and the gratitude and the blessings and prayers that we received over the last week for our mare and our little filly. And thank you so much. And I look forward to chatting to you next week Monday. If you have not checked out my latest podcast, please do that. It is on my Facebook page as well as YouTube. Jonathan and Lauren, thanks for checking in this morning. I so appreciate it, and make it a great week.